Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. What's going on, everyone? I am here with Marcus Hampton at Hampton Construction, and he is located in Phoenix, Arizona. But as he was just explaining to me, he actually does work all over Arizona. He's going to tell us how he did it today. Super neat story. He's got actually multiple companies. We got an outdoor living company that he's kind of been working on. He's also got a residential design build. So I'm extremely excited to hear your story, Marcus. Welcome to Builder Stories.
Hey, thank you for having me. I truly do appreciate it. I have been in love with these stories from your first one. I've watched them, and it's ironic because it was Builder Stories that actually got me to even start utilizing Job Tread. So, hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Super cool. I guess it shows that creating great content, it'll comes back to the business, and we're not even here to promote or market Job Tread, but that's cool to hear. So why don't you tell us, Marcus, kind of give us a backstory. So tell us about, the two companies, kind of maybe even before that. How'd you get into construction? Like where, what brought you to start your first business, and kind of what are these businesses now?
So to be blunt, basically what got me into construction was I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car. I chose to move to Arizona at 18 years old. I had come from a situation that I was living in at the time before I had moved, where I had hit a very rough spot in my life, and I knew I needed more. I needed to do more. I needed to be better than what I was exposed to. I didn't know exactly what. But what I will tell you is when you're sleeping in your car, after you take a very large leap, you separate yourself from everything you know, and you're thinking life is going to be okay, and you fall flat on your face, you search for answers and solutions. And that's pretty much what I've been from the time I was a kid. I don't know why I've thought like this from the beginning, but my outlook is, hey, you know what? Life is going to throw problems at you. You can't control that. But what you can control are the solutions to those problems, right? And when I was sleeping in my car, I said, you know what? I need another job, and I need to know that I'm securing my future in the aspect of never having to do this again. So what I did is I started working for a large banking firm, which is where I learned a lot of my financial background, right? I learned a lot of finance in general, and earned my financial background. And then I also started a handyman service, which is now what is split into two businesses, which is Hampton Outdoor, which is our custom outdoor design and build firm. So where we go and design and build and remodel swimming pools, landscapes, casitas, everything pretty much on the outdoor living space. The other portion of this is my other company, which is Hampton Construction. That is our indoor design, build, and remodeling company. Through that, we currently have some custom homes that are actually being built, designed, remodeled. There's everything from your basic kitchen remodel to an entire gutting of the home. And like I said, again, even building new homes. It's vast, and it's intentional. Really, that's really what it is.
Man, that's an incredible story, Marcus. I didn't know the first part before. So what year is it when you started the handyman business?
I started the handyman business. I had been doing it off and on as a teenager. So for me, I had a father. Yeah, it was so probably I'd say 2010. It sounds funny when I say 2010 because I was 14, right?
Yeah.
So 2010, 2011 is really where life started changing. I had dropped out of school a few times. I was a teenager. I watched my mother struggle. She raised me single-handedly, and my father dabbled in and out of my life pretty much from the time I was a baby. But the one thing I knew is that even for him, with him being as inconsistent as he was, handyman services were always there. Someone always needed something to be fixed.
Yeah.
The one thing that I hated, though, was the corner cutting and the attention to detail. And I always knew that if I wanted to do something like that, if I was to take on building or designing or just helping someone, I needed to be in a position where I could be thorough and be the one in control. Because, again, seeing how my father built, unfortunately, the people that he dealt with while he was alive, I saw him. Please pardon me if I get a little emotional because it's still really fresh with everything. I saw him get taken advantage of a lot. And even though I didn't have him in my life much as a kid growing up, the times that I did see him, he was put in a position where he couldn't really build the way that he knew he should have. And that basically ended up becoming his life.
Man, I'm really sorry to hear about your father. That sounds really challenging. Marcus, when did you decide to split these two businesses into, kind of the outdoor and then the interior, design, build, remodel?
I did this about 3 years ago. Basically for me, again, I'm all about properly managing risk. For me, I may take a genuine approach to the way that I build, but through my upbringing and even dealing with clients, even recently, I learned very quickly that there are a lot of people out there who may have good intentions, or it may seem like they have good intentions, but underneath it, they're not good. They're not wholesome. And unfortunately, they're looking at what they can get out of it versus doing the right thing. And with that being said, it's properly managing risk. Again, if someone decided they wanted to come after one business, it's a strategy. Really what it is, it's just a strategy. I want to protect what I have tons of people that depend on me to produce on a daily basis. When I say tons of people, there's at least 50 to 60 families a month that depend on revenue that is generated by either Hampton Outdoor or Hampton Construction. So I have to realize that it's not just about me. I'm the smallest piece of this puzzle, right? Because I'm the one that gets paid last. All that revenue is going to those people that depend on me first before I even pay myself. So it would be selfish of me to carelessly approach building the way that we have, especially with how quickly we've grown. Year over year, we've doubled in size. We're seeing revenues in the 7 figures now between both companies. It's not, we're no longer considered just a small business per se. We're producing for, again, several families. And that's why I've taken this approach.
Man, that's incredible. So tell us, how are the teams structured? I mean, how big are both of these teams here?
So basically what I did is I like to keep my firms small. When I say small, I say we're small but mighty. I am not. See, and this is the other thing too I want to emphasize, because some people say, oh, well, why don't you just specialize? I did. I specialize in delegation. And when I say that, I chose to put the right people in their right places. I overpay for roles that I know for a fact should not be paying out the revenue that they do. But you know what that does? It attracts the right people. People who genuinely care, who want to be able to do more than just basically get by and want to live life. That's what I want. I want the people who are hungry for more. The best way to motivate people outside of paying them well is letting them know that you genuinely care for them and theirs. And that's what it is. I genuinely care. Every single person on my team right now is, we vary depending on the situation, probably between 10 to 12 people.
Okay.
So,
and
go ahead. Sorry.
I assume are you using like subcontractors, trade partners, or?
Yep. Trade partners primarily, really. That's what it is again, we focus here in Arizona. Again, anyone who lives here, well, actually, you guys see it in the industry. You see in the groups where they're asking, hey, what's your price per square foot here? What are you looking at cost wise? If you look at it, landscapes, for instance, you may see something come up with pavers. Oh yeah, we're installing pavers for $7, $8, maybe $9 a square foot. As you guys know, that's not a whole lot of revenue to be made off of that. So unfortunately, what we're dealing with is a lot of people who approach building with the bottom of the barrel mentality, where basically they're saying, again, it leads to the whole good enough mentality as well. Hey, as long as I can install these pavers, I'm going to get paid. But what about installing them the right way? And this is where what I do comes into play with being able to thrive in a industry, in a state like this. Because again, my prices, I lean into conversations with my clients. I say, hey, I start out with saying, if you're looking for the cheapest, I am not he. I am not they. I am not them. If you're looking for the most structured, if you're looking for someone who cares truly about the engineering and the structural capacity, your structural strength, longevity, and truly your investment, whether this is you making this as an investment in flipping this home or even an investment in making it an enjoyable place to make memories with your family, just know that I care. Bare minimum. That's the least. And that's what you deserve as being a client. And that's really what resulted in us being here.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more with you, man. Like, I feel like the one thing that, like, you can't, when I look to build people and add people to our team, the most important thing I'm looking for is somebody who is passionate and genuinely cares and has that nature. You can't pay somebody enough money to just all of a sudden be passionate about what they're doing. And like, I think like that's like that hidden trait in people. And, those are the people too, that like they can be really inspired and motivated by a great leader to, want to do greatness and want to deliver an excellent service. And, sounds like you've really embodied that in the culture of your business.
Absolutely. Yeah. I expected it everyone. It's the main thing that I preach on our team calls. We have team calls that are, twice, maybe 3 times a week. And more of it is just discussing morale, right? It's whenever you have discussions, I tell my team, like, look, I understand life happens. Life is going to happen to you, but it is going to be your perspective that impacts that. If you're in a position where you can't be proactive and you're stuck being reactive, understand every single detail down to the way you talk to yourself mentally is going to impact the outcome. And it works. It sounds so corny. I spent so many hours as a teenager watching the Les Brown videos, watching the Eric Thomas videos. The Les Brown, you got to be hungry. I used to, when people would tell me that, hey, it may be corny, but it works. I didn't believe them. But now I find myself, even right now, I'm sitting in my truck because I decided to start my morning at 3:00 this morning, trying to be as proactive as I possibly could be for this call, what I thought was going to be a call, not the actual podcast, right? But again, I always stay ready, so thank you. My hair is done, my face is shaved, This is what it takes. You got to be proactive, but you also got to be ready to make quick decisions on a whim. This is construction. This is building. This is life when you are growing. And it all comes down to that comfort zone, right? You thoroughly understand it. Look at what you've built. You ventured out so far outside of what you probably originally expected this to be. And now you have just a network. I think that's what's so cool about this, is just knowing just some of my peers that I'm able to go and talk to and ask for advice. It makes things so much easier. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So what do you think's been the hardest thing for you to go from, basically starting, this company out of a necessity, out of your truck to building, a 7-figure business? Like what was the hardest thing and how did you overcome that?
I'll be honest, I'm still overcoming it. The hardest thing for me is the poor mentality. I still remember being a kid, and my alarm clock going off with me, reminding me I needed to go to school, right? And as I'm looking at the alarm clock, I'm watching roaches scurry through it. I fear going back to that every single day. And despite how far I am away from that, that's still where my mind gravitates back to. It's the poor mentality. This is what keeps people in that type of environment. This is what keeps so many of them there, because it's the phrase, "This is all I know." So for me, I'm constantly outside of my comfort zone. My blood pressure is as high as it is constantly. I'm hypertensive because of how often I am in an uncomfortable position. But I'll tell you this again, I don't believe that I deserve comfort. I know I don't deserve comfort. Me being comfortable right now means that I am not reaching for more. And literally, that's when I've been able to make the best moves. Put my back where I feel like I'm up against the wall. And I'll tell you, this isn't me being cocky or anything like that, but it's the same way when you grow up in bad neighborhoods. I'll be honest, we had to fight a lot. I had to physically fight, mentally, emotionally, every aspect I had to fight. And I use that same thought process now. I'm going to come out swinging. And anyone who's trying to hold me back or hey man, you should just stay here. No, you're gonna catch these knuckles right on the chin. I'm just letting you know. I refuse to be held back. And the other thing that I realized too is that in many cases, I'm the one doing it, so I got to get out of my own way. And like I said, that poor mindset, it's played such a large role in, I think I've used that insecurity. I've used that position, those memories to drive me every single day. I just told you, I woke up at 3:00 this morning, not by choice. My alarm goes off at 4:00. If I'm saying, hey, bud, you need to be up, even though I fell asleep at 12:30 last night, like, hey, it's 3:00. You know what? I'm tired. I got bags under my eyes. You can't see it. Some coffee in me. But really what's driving me is the passion, because I know for a fact, no matter what, I'm finally at a point in life where I know that that trajectory is always going to be so different compared to the way that it started.
Yeah, no, man, I can feel your passion. I can see that you've got the grit and determination that it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. I have no doubt in talking with you for these first 10 minutes, and that's something that I've learned that you can just tell when somebody's got what it takes. And even though I can't, I've come up from a different, upbringing. I've been very, very fortunate. I will say that, in my first software company, I had just quit my job, 9 months out of college, had literally just graduated, quit my job. I bootstrapped my first company out of a 5-bedroom house. I borrowed a $40,000 credit card from my dad that I personally guaranteed to pay him back, which, again, it was something though that I bootstrapped this out of a house, and I genuinely believed that I had my back against the wall and I was fighting every single day to survive, but I knew there was only one direction I could possibly go, and that was going to be forward. That was going to be up either. Okay, I guess we can go multiple directions. We were going up, we were going forward, but there was no going back. And there was, no matter what happened, and I think it's that level of devotion and determination and persistence and just having that mindset. I would rather have my back against the wall and have to fight my way out every single time than to just, I see so many companies, and, probably more so in the software space, but where people raise a bunch of money. They take all this money from all these people, and then they just start, living, outside of their means. They just start spending all this money on different, hiring huge teams, but all sorts of different things. And it's you end up not being able to actually be self-sustaining, and you can't actually afford all that stuff. And then, a couple years in, now you're out of money, and now you're either sunk or now, you're going back to the drawing board. But I think that is such a great mindset to have, is that every single dollar you make, you're reinvesting it into your business.
Back into the business.
I can tell that's what you got, man.
It's funny that you say that, because that's another thing that I say. Coming from finance, that's where I'm thankful, right? Is because I have that understanding. I know what it's like when money is scarce. I know what it's like to be under the impression that you're safe, right? You see some zeros in your bank account. For once, they're in front of the dot, right? They're in front of that period, So it's okay, man, we're doing really well. Then boom, you lose jobs or you lose bins, and you're just bleeding out, and you do the scramble, right? Oh my God, I got to get more work. I know what that's like. So it's the false interpretation of comfort, right? It's there's a term for it, and I apologize. I'm running a little slow mentally right now due to the lack of sleep. But what I will say is I refuse to make that part of my life. I'm always gonna feel like there's something I have to do. Either I gotta grind, I gotta work. That comfort, again, no matter what. I realize at this point in my life, Eric, I am the sacrifice. My ancestors, again, and I want to emphasize this too, your situation, just because you didn't have to sleep with roaches or be in a position where you grew up in a poor neighborhood, your bad, your version of what is bad and what was uncomfortable to you may very much so be even more motivating to you than what my situation was to me. I don't think that everyone needs to go through that. And honestly, I would prefer people to not have to go through that, because right now I feel like I've had to spend so much of my energy, my youth, my life on just getting to barely where I'm at right now, where I'd even see eye to eye with a lot of guys in the industry, right? That did have mom and dad support, that did have the financial means, that did, and again, those guys, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to emphasize that. But I feel like with my energy, the amount that I've had to spend just to get here, it's like now I'm barely where the battle begins. I just barely hopped in the ocean, my friend. I just came out of the woods and I'm barely in the ocean. I'm trying to swim to where the fish are good. That's really what it is. And now my shoulders hurt. I'm beat up, like literally as we speak, because of the work that I did on job sites. I mean, I didn't stop getting off of job sites recently until, even this year. This year, I injured myself again on a job site. I have 2 discs in my back right now that are making contact with my spinal cord. My surgeon told me, you should not be doing this. And he told me that a few years back. Yet here I am, like, hey, I let my guys know, I'm going to hop in with you. I built this. I want you to know that I'm going to put in the work too. And the problem is again, that perspective, right? I have to humble myself and realize that I've put people in the right place. But so yeah.
Well, man, you definitely I've had some back issues myself, probably nothing like yours, but like, man, it's not worth injuring yourself anymore. Like, dude, you've already built the framework for an incredible business. So it's time for you to just naturally, get off the tools, step back and start focusing, all of your time on growing the rest of this business, because you've already proven that you can deliver a construction service and a product. You've proven that you can hire and put the right people in place. So yeah, man, you got to quit swinging that hammer if you want my advice.
Yeah, that's what ever got me. I took one swing, I felt a little pop, and my whole left leg went numb. I said, "Oh, this is gonna be a problem." My project manager he was on site with me. He said, "Ballard," he said, "You didn't do what I think you just did you?" Like,
man.
I can't feel my leg, and had to hop in. I had to have him throw me inside of the car. Thankfully, I was able to drive because I needed my right leg. So we're good. Made it to the hospital, and I'm back driving again. So here we are.
Man, well, So tell me how did you get your first customers? How did you convince people to buy from you? What was the beginning like?
It was horrible. I'll be honest. It was horrible. I'm so hard on myself. And I still get emotional about it, man, because, you're, apologize. You don't understand how important mental health is, until it's the only thing that you have that's keeping you from completely crumbling. And I remember, really what pushed me to do it is, it was handyman, and I was doing my handyman services. I was doing some landscaping jobs, some cleanup, some demos here and there. And my wife, we had already had our first kid, and she sends me a message. She says, "Babe, we got to buy food, but there's no money in the bank." And I look at the bank account, it's negative. And I'm like, okay, no worries. Because again, like I said, going back to my childhood, I remember how my mom, because of the position we were in, she didn't have the help from my father, or really anyone at that time. And she'd be so hurt, and she'd be screaming at the top of her lungs, begging for life to change. And I knew I did not want my wife to ever have to go through that. I'd never wanted my kids to see that, because that plays vividly in my head almost on a daily basis, even now, So I went out door knocking, and it was the best thing. That from that one day, I earned 5 people. They let me mow. They gave me opportunities to mow lawns, cut down trees. that's really where landscaping I went and got really aggressive with landscaping. One of those clients, this is so crazy seeing it come around 360. The first client that ever walked out to talk to me when I was door knocking, she said, honey, she said, it's hot, and you're out here with no hat, you are sweating, and you look tired. And I said, ma'am, I am, but this is the right thing to do. I said, I can't be home right now. I said, I have a family to take care of. And she didn't even have a yard to really maintain. They had probably 5 or 6 bushes in their backyard and a tree that needed to be trimmed. And she said, honey, I don't really have that much work for you, but if you can show up and make something happen every 2 weeks, I will you can make me a regular client. And from that one person, taking care of that one person, it spread throughout that same community. And it went from me needing to worry about work to I was working 3 jobs. So keep in mind, when I say this, I was going door to door. I was going door to door on the weekend. I was working at the bank. In the evenings, I would go and meet with clients and, do estimates. Or I would be at the bar where I was a security guard and or a bouncer, basically. And pretty much between those 3, the landscaping is, thank goodness, like that's what took off, because I realized my passion, was really depending on myself. That's really, really what it was. I could produce, and no one was in between that. Me being able to give that client that satisfaction of the job being done right. With the bank, I was always told no. Hey, something was declined. I was the guy that would press the button that would refund the person's money. Like, this bank's big enough. I'm going to refund your money. You don't deserve to get hit with those fees. And I'd get in trouble. The bar, you got guys that are drunk off their butts, and you got another security guard that's, oh man, I'm gonna fight him. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, this guy has a family to go home to. Like, hey, I'm gonna come and talk to you nicely. And I didn't have that personality for that. But then there was a landscaping side of it, and that's where it allowed me to see that process through and through. I loved being able to work with good people. I was able to come across bad people that try to take advantage of my personality, because I genuinely care about my work and how we produce and what we produce. And it taught me a lot very quickly. I landed on my face multiple times, but thankfully through it all, I understood how to navigate through that, not just financially, but again, more importantly, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear. It shines through, man. And I think that's the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, is that, like, you got all the potential in the world. It's just up to yours to figure out how to seize it and how to get that opportunity and how to win the day. And I mean, you're clearly embodying it. You're hustling. You're working your ass off. I mean, that's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And sure, having a little bit of luck, if you want to call it that, or if you just or got your eyes open looking for the opportunities.
You make your own.
Yeah.
I mean, my process from the beginning has always been, learn now. Learn now, however you need to. I'd rather be the 20-year-old that is asking a dumb question than be 40 or 50 years old wondering how I'm going to provide for my family because I didn't ask that question when I was a kid. And I expose that all the time. That's how I tell people. That's how I've had to learn. That's what I tell people. My mentors, my peers, hey, this may be a dumb question, but at the end of the day, no question is a dumb question when you're striving to be better. And it's what I tell my team. I said, guys, you're going to hear me ask it. You're going to see me on social media asking questions to my peers on these builder pages. Given again, what we do is, it's not common. There are a lot of guys that try to do this, or a lot of people that try to do this, and they end up falling flat on their face. But thankfully for me, again, I will say it is those vivid memories from my childhood that is always going to propel me. I'll tell you that. I got my forever motivation. That's what I call it. Yeah. It's a lifelong motivation that's going to be embedded in me, and it's worked. I ask those questions, I expose those weaknesses, and I get rid of them. Pride is not something that I allow to impact my business. I set that aside and I do the right thing each and every time, even if it hurts me or goes against my thought process or my understanding. That's the thing, is you can't lean on your own understanding. That's where having the right peers, the right mentors, the right group around you is important, because again, you may come down to a decision that could be life-changing. And if your eyes aren't wide enough to understand that, you need to have those people that are sitting there doing that, for you. So,
yeah. So what do you, when, let's say you wake up and, just feels like it's, kind of going to be a bad day or something, or you're feeling lack of motivation, like what do you do to push through that? Like, I feel like you've got a very good handle on kind of the mindset aspect. So what is it for you that helps you break through and go show up every single day, day after day?
I realize those days, which happen a lot, especially lately after losing my father, this has been the worst time of my life. I'll be honest. I've never struggled this much internally as a person, ever, because I'm questioning a lot. When I say questioning a lot, it's about myself, the time I'm spending away from my family, watching my health deteriorate, knowing that I should be more efficient with sleep. I should be more efficient with self-care. I should be spending more time with my family, right? But I also have a business that needs to be nurtured. And that business is why so many people around me are thriving. My process is immediately understanding. I do again, self-awareness. It's very important to me. It's probably the best skill that I've learned throughout my my entire life thus far, right? I say entire life. I'm only 27, but I realize that I am aware of where I stand emotionally. And if my morning's already starting off rough, I say it to myself. My wife jokes a lot about it, but I talk to myself a lot. And again, when I say that mental space, that being cognizant of where you are mentally, I tell myself, this is the day where you're going to earn it. It's not the days when everything goes to plan that you see progress. It's the days when you don't want to go out. You don't want to go out. You don't want to talk to clients. You don't want to send those bids. You don't want to talk to your team. You don't want to answer your phone. Literally, as I'm talking to you, just so you know, I'm talking to you on one phone. I have a second one that's been going off since this interview started. I am now looking at 15 calls and 25 text messages. Sorry, 24 text messages.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's a process, but again, this is where building the right team is so important. This is where delegating, understanding where you're at, right? Doing the right thing. I can sit here and say, man, our numbers have increased in the aspect of sales. But, hey, that's not money for me to go and buy the car I want. That's money for me to be able to go and invest in the person that I need.
Yeah. What are you doing from a marketing standpoint? Like, how are you, building your brand, your company, website, SEO? What's working for marketing wise? Where are your customers coming from today?
So as we speak, I flood social media. When I say I flood social media, I'm not really sharing many posts right now. I'm working on that, but primarily my main source of business comes from word of mouth. I've been able to build some amazing relationships with amazing people that refer me out 24/7. Literally every chance they get, they're vouching for me. Hey, use Marcus. Him and his team are great. It's even, what's crazy is even I have two clients that refer me business regularly where their jobs didn't go to plan. They were actually catastrophes that I had no idea were going to fall apart. But because of the way the job finished and me being transparent and upfront, I earned their trust. And that's when it was. Because I even asked them, I said, why do you guys still refer me out after what happened? They said, well, you did the right thing by it. You did the right thing by it. So for me, I think really, really what it is that has helped me the most is, again, building those relationships. I like to call myself a relationship manager. That's really what it is I thoroughly understand the importance of having valuable relationships. When I go out, whenever I hang out with anyone, whenever I spend any time with anyone outside of my immediate family, which are my wife and kids, I emphasize the fact that I'm spending time with you for a reason. Not because of what you can give me in the aspect of like finances or you just even being able to give me a referral, but because you're a good person to be around, because you understand what I'm striving to accomplish. You're not emotional over the fact that I can't respond to a text message within 5 minutes of you reaching out. You know, hey, you want to hang out? I'm texting them back 3 days later. Yeah, man, when? Oh, it was Friday. It's Monday now. You know?
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I would just say really right now, everyone's going to flood the market, right? With marketing strategies, things like that. I'm doing it just because I want people to know what my personal brand is and who I am as a person. That's really what it is. We're coming across a lot of clients who don't know me as a person, and which is crazy. I get calls on a daily basis. Hey, this person referred you out. This person. It's like, man, hey, I appreciate it. It's amazing what happens when you listen. You nurture. You nurture, and that's what's crazy for me. Is like I have not been very active on social media, I should say, lately because of everything that I've been going through, and I'm okay with saying that. I've been trying to focus more again on my mental space and my physical health. And with that being said, I can't scroll through social media 24/7 looking for those opportunities where people are looking for quality builders.
Sure.
So, but again, even despite that, I'm still getting people reaching out. So it's been, I will say it's been fruitful. Word of mouth, and then again, the social media aspect, people searching for specific, builders, and I'm dropping those seeds. I'm putting that in my comment. They're going to search for it. It's going to pop up in my comment. And then they're going to see a video of my work that's saying that, oh, you need someone to remodel your pool. Perfect. Here's a video of one of our remodels. You need someone to build a home for you? Here's one we're actively building. You need someone to remodel a kitchen. Well, hey, we're actively doing this right now. Hey, I'm actually standing in the kitchen. Here you go. I'll show you what the work looks like at the end of it, but feel free to call me if you have any questions. And that's another thing too.
Sure.
I think really what's helped the most is that I'm genuine. I tell my clients, my duty is to inform you first. My goal isn't to try to earn your business. If you don't understand my value before choosing me, what good is it that you chose me? Because then you're going to see someone else or get a bid from someone else that may be lower. And at that point, how are you going to compare apples to apples? And then I even say this, I say, even with comparing apples to apples, you are aware that there are more than 1,700 different types of apples out there, right? And then I say, well, that's great that you're aware of that now, because guess what? I'm an orange. So, how are you going to know that without being able to do those comparisons and basically earning my trust, or me earning your trust first? So it's, again, that's been my process, and it's been fruitful.
So how many jobs are you running at one time? Like, how are you able to kind of, you're selling kind of beyond just Phoenix, you said, right? Kind of really all over Arizona. I mean, how do you manage all these jobs? How many is it at one time?
Right now, just to put in perspective, we are actively running 18 jobs. We're actively running 18 jobs that range from basic turf and paver installations to kitchen remodel. We have a home in Scottsdale right now that has a whole 42 feet of its wall blown out because we're adding 400 square feet to it. And then as soon as that is finished with being framed, we have an entire new pool and landscape being built in the backyard. Yeah, I'll be honest, it is a lot. But again, this is where communication with your team is essential. It is absolutely, it's crucial. I will say it's crucial. So again, this is where having the right people in the right place. I have construction managers, I have project managers, and I have superintendents that are, even with my crews. So even with my subcontracted crews, there's a vetting process. There's always one person on the job site that reports directly to me, or basically my team. Outside of my team stopping by, if there's any questions, if there's any concerns, even if it's just, hey, I'm just wondering which direction the turf is going to point, call and ask that question. There is a process of elimination. If you can't get a hold of my team, first and foremost, what are they doing that's not making it to where they're not able to answer their phone, especially with how many people are in their specific place for a reason. But then call me. If I can't answer, literally as I'm talking to clients, this is what happens a lot, which is why my conversations probably are so scattered when I have conversations with people and on the phone. I'm realizing even more so now. As I'm talking, like I'm talking to you, I'm sitting here saying, yeah, Eric, hey, yeah, that sounds great. And I'm sending a text message basically saying, yeah, we need 3,000 square feet of pavers delivered within the next 2 days. Who's going to order that? So, going over the materials, here's a material sample, trying to maintain multiple conversations. And that's how it is sometimes. But the majority of the time, I have my personal assistant who's there to help, that understands. She reads me really well. My wife, she can tell my tone from the time that I wake up. She's like, what is going on? All right. And she gets me to open up, and she's the yin to my yang, absolutely. Cause I'm a spitfire from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. My mind is racing on opportunities. I dream about my jobs and sometimes have nightmares about. So,
But does she help with the business or just kind of help with you?
Absolutely. Well, keep in mind too, I also diversified. So I own a company in the medical industry as well. So that's pretty much her priority to run that. And then she will step over when she sees that I'm getting overwhelmed or that there is an issue in communication, or if there's one hiccup, she'll know. It's like, hey, the client question is, okay, someone dropped the ball, let's figure out who. And it's most likely Marcus, because I'm always going to take the blame for it. Even if it's my team, it's my fault. And I'm always going to take she's going to hear it. It's my fault. I made this mistake. I didn't reiterate this. I didn't explain it properly. Keep in mind too, with the designs, I do a lot more in the design software. I don't come from an engineering background. I don't come from a design background. I don't come from a construction background. My dad, again, even though he did what he did, handyman wise, he never was I'm gonna be honest, he never was a solid builder. He didn't know what it was like to do massive jobs like what we're doing, where I can go from talking about a turf and paver job to constructing an entire home, to adding to an ADU or an addition to a home, to building a casita properly. We could never have that conversation. But with me, I sat there, I learned AutoCAD, I learned SketchUp, I learned Structure Studio, I learned Lumion for the sake of properly modeling. I'm still actively learning Lumion, which is why you haven't seen any of those videos put on my social media yet, because I still feel like my strategies are being taken like a 5-year-old. So I just it's a lot. It's a lot. But again, simply put, it is delegation. And my people know that when I'm overwhelmed, or I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, there are specific parameters in place to prevent any type of loss or negative impact. And again, I'm the least important in this process. My clients, again, the client's process comes first. We will never stop a job because Marcus is overwhelmed or Marcus can't figure this out. Guess what? If Marcus can't figure this out, Marcus has 10 to 15 other people that he can call real quick. Hey, ran into the situation, I need some help. I need some guidance. Please let me know what I need to do to get that. And it's worked phenomenally.
So who do you go to, like, when you need some, kind of need some guidance? I mean, what's that network look like outside of the companies?
For me, so thankfully there is I don't want to make it seem like I'm advertising, but I will say there are several groups that are active on social media where you can find the answers that you need, where it's safe to ask the questions. And typically if you just do a search, someone's asked the question that you have. And that's really what it is. It's just, I will sit there, I'll take note. Hey, I'm running into this situation. I got my list, my category in place, or my categories in place. And now I'm going to go line by line. Hey, let's figure this out, And then on top of that, I have direct access to some of the top builders. And these are the underdogs. When I say the underdogs, these are the guys that aren't making themselves really known on social media. They may be commenting, but to a lot of guys, to a lot of contractors, these guys are the jerks, right? Man, he was an asshole. Well, guess what? The reason why he was an asshole is because that guy cares. That guy cares. And that's why, because he wants you to do it right. There's only one way to approach construction, and that's the right way, Eric. And unfortunately, for some reason, you get the contractors who are just about the money. Oh, I need to make money. I need to make this bread. I'm gonna get paid. What about doing the right thing? You ever thought about doing the right thing and creating something beautiful that's meant to last, and actually you make your client happy? You ever think that you're going to get more business back? You're going to attract the right people, and that's what it is. But because there's always going to be that person out there who thinks that he can recreate the wheel and make a ton of money off of doing very little, guys like me are going to stay in business because I'm always going to be right behind it to clean up that catastrophe, right? I'm going to let the client know, hey, you may have been taken advantage of, but daddy's here now. I got you. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to hold your hand through this process. I know you ran through, multiple contractors to deal with this issue and you're still not satisfied. First, let's figure out that you're not the problem as a client. Let me emphasize that. But as long as they're not the one that has actually created the issue and we actually see some structural failures, areas that were neglected intentionally, that's where I know, hey, I won't say it's going to be a walk in the park, but I just know with my approach, as long as the client understands that we have their best benefit at heart, it's all going to be A-okay.
Yeah. So what's your plan for, to keep growing the business? I mean, what do you want to do differently? Where do you want to see these companies go and kind of what's that look like over the next 5-10 years?
For me, where we are going to head, at least what the goal is as of right now, trajectory wise, I'm always open to learning more, right? Because keep in mind too, like I said, I don't come from this. So I'm watching from afar, people who are winning, or at least who I see are winning. And unfortunately, you get closer to those people and you realize everything that they're, making it out to be isn't exactly that. But for me, development's where I'm headed. Absolutely. No matter what, real estate development, whether it's commercial properties, multifamily, really for me, the passion projects, that's where it's going to be. Design is definitely another thing that I'm passionate about. So I don't think I'll ever be out of new home construction, swimming pool construction, landscape design. I don't think I'll ever let go of that completely, but I think it'll be more, my approach will be more intentional. And that's what I will say. I will be doing a lot less jobs. My goal is to do a lot less jobs and focus on doing more of what I love. When I say jobs, it is instead of taking on these jobs where I'm, I can't tell a client no because it's a simple paver and turf job. Well, for us to be able to navigate through that paver and turf job now with our team being as big as it is, am I in fact losing money just trying to put a team on that? So now it's a process of looking at it and saying, hey, you know what? We rightfully so have a threshold that needs to be met. And this is where we're at in the aspect of size of jobs. And anything on the outside of that, again, I got to be more intentional with my time. I want to be able to spend more time with my family. I want them to be able to truly see the fruitage of our labors and what's being done. I can't promise I'm going to be here forever. I can't promise I'm going to live to be 65 like my father did. So with that being said, I want to be able to essentially create something where it's self-sustaining. And even that in construction, it's kind of difficult to say, but it's putting the right people in the right place and giving my employees and my team a home versus just a job. I think that's really just what it is. There's so many ways. And when you get the contractors out of the way that are looking at it in a selfish manner, just trying to milk the industry for what it has, instead of doing the right thing and knowing that, hey, you make the proper investments, this business will forever bear, again, the tastiest of fruits. It's amazing. There's so many strategies that I'm working on actively because of my financial background. People talk about 401ks and retirement funds, things like that. What about the fact that because we are able to, as contractors, right, especially general contractor, I come across labor and building costs that are a lot lower than what the typical homeowner is able to deal with, right? So what if you were able to tell your team something like, hey, you know what, instead of looking at a 401k, why don't you look at building a house? Hey, we get them cheap anyway. We get them pennies on the dollar. I don't want to say it like that because, again, if a client comes across this, man, you're charging me that much. That's not the case, but it's just strategy, right? All the areas, they're not a typical client at this point. So you can immediately gain equity in building your home. Now you just immediately made it in a matter of 6 months, you building that house. Guess what? You have $100,000 in equity. Oh my God. Now let's keep that going. What's next? What's next for you? Let's keep you excited with working with me because I'll walk you through the process. Now you're excited. I'm excited. Our clients are excited. Now business is, again, it's good for everyone. And when you do things like that, you invest in your people, you invest in your team, your strategies, processes, procedures, great things, You just got to weed out the bad ones. That's literally it. That's the battle right now.
Yeah, man, you've dropped a lot on us here, man. I appreciate you, really sharing kind of the under the hood, the story behind Marcus, man. You've got an incredible story, and I can tell you're already doing a great job. You've achieved a lot of success, and I want to give you, kudos for that, man. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of motivation, and I can tell you're a pro at overcoming challenges and adversity. Like, you're just gonna do whatever it takes to be successful, and that's awesome to see that, man. I appreciate all of your effort to build a great business and to be a great leader and to provide for your family. Like that's all that anyone could ask for, and
right.
The fact that you're able to not just provide for your family but so many other people's families. I mean, dude, man, that's awesome, Marcus. You've done a really great job, and I'm excited to see where you take this thing. I can only imagine where you're going to be in a few more years from now. You're building something really great here, man. And
thank you.
I just want you to definitely take care of that back. I would also recommend getting a little bit more sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is good. You do need the sleep. I hate it too. I struggle to go to bed. And I don't know. My mind keeps going. Like, I get it. I totally get it. But I hear sleep is good, so I try to do a little bit more.
Right.
You should probably too. But dude, just keep being you, man. Keep doing your thing, and you're doing a great job.
Can I say one more thing, Eric?
Yeah.
I want to emphasize for anyone who listens to this, or may even think that I'm a jerk because of the way that I talk or approach this with the confidence that I do. For me, it's the fact that I'm scared every single day. I'm going to be honest, 100%. I am scared every single day. Not just because of my upbringing, but because of the things that I saw. There's a lot more to this story that I haven't shared with you. Growing up in a neighborhood like what I did, I'll just say this: watching someone lose their life, watching that first-handedly, coming across people who are no longer living. I'll just say that. Those thoughts, those visuals, they stick with you eternally. And my biggest fear is not finishing the job before it's done. I got a lot of work to do, Eric. I got a lot of work to do. I'm a very imperfect human being. I make a lot of mistakes, and that's on a daily basis. But I genuinely want what is best for others, which I know in turn, especially when it comes to those around me, as long as I continue to manage those relationships well, hopefully it'll play out well for myself as well. So
I think it will, Marcus. You've done a great job, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
So many other people, though, seriously, like going through the things that you've gone through, that would just hold so many people back.
Yeah.
And you are taking those steps to keep going, man. Like, you keep fighting. Like, that's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur.
Life is going to tell you no.
Yeah. No just means Eric. Keep going.
Yeah. Every time. If I'm telling you, and you'll talk, I'll be transparent one more time. Those days where I know I'm having a rough time, I wake up to some very unpleasant text messages or calls or people stressing out over little things. After a few curse words and getting myself right back at it. It's just life is telling me no, and I'll yell. Life is going to tell me no, but I'm still going.
Yep.
I'll go on my grave sideways if I have to. That's where I get that energy. I'll tell you. I bring it from my gut. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going in my grave sideways, Eric. And you're going to see the claw marks and all the blood, the fight. That's really what you're going to see. You're going to see the fight, because I'm not. I know for a fact that I am the sacrifice that my family is needed. I've gone through entire generations. I've watched entire generations go through again and again and again. It's the same repetitive cycle of this is all I know. I will never portray that on my children. My children will never be held back. My team will never be held back. I'm going to speak life into every single person that's around me. I may come off as corny. I may come off as that dorky dude who, states all the popular quotes. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. I'll never say something negative. I'm going to ask you what your thought process is on the situation. And I'm going to tell you exactly what my perspective is on what you can do to make it better while ensuring that you understand it's coming from a good place. That's the most important thing to me. As long as I can do that and prove to people that it doesn't matter. Again, life is a marathon. Life is a marathon. Some of us are going to start all the way in the back, not even realizing the starting gun has already gone off. And that's okay.
No.
Eric, that's okay. Because guess what? I'm still going to pace people. I don't care what I got to do. If you're lazy, if you are taking advantage of people, if you aren't putting in the effort, just know I'm gonna be right on your back. And before long, I'm gonna catch you and I'm passing you up. Don't let me pass you up. And that's literally what don't let me pass you up. I'm going for everything I was told I'd never have as a kid.
Get it, man.
So I appreciate you, Eric. Really, really do. And again, thank you for helping me a lot. Again, back to the organization. This isn't me advertising JobTread. This is me saying strictly, I've spent thousands of dollars over the last probably two years now, trying to find the proper software for my team to be able to navigate through and take care of every aspect of our jobs. Yours has by far been the most efficient for us. And I can't thank you enough for the support from your team, because again, when I call, I'm already stressed. I'm already stressed out. Like, oh God, I can't figure this out. I feel, again, I'm 27 years old, but there are days where I feel like I am in my 60s or 70s, like that old man that's thinking, oh my God, how do I navigate through this? I can't press this button here. You're getting angry. Why does change happen? And then I realized, like, wait, this is life. It's life. You better learn, adapt and overcome, or you're going to get conquered yourself, So, yeah, again, I really do appreciate you, Eric. Thank you. Literally from the bottom of my heart. Your process, I know you deal with so many people, thousands of people on a daily basis, monthly basis, but at the end of the day, just know your system has helped me navigate through a lot of, but you're going to see, you're probably going to go through if you haven't already, like, oh God, he did something wrong. That is not where a proposal is supposed to go. He's already learned how to manipulate the software. It's not even supposed to be manipulated. But yeah, it's trial and error. And again, I look at your software like I look at life. Again, there's going to be learning curves, but we're all here to learn, baby. And I'm ready for it all. So
awesome, man. Well, excited to hear that it's making an impact. Again, I want to see you build the most successful, scalable, profitable business. So however we can help, man, don't ever hesitate. I definitely recommend get out to JobTread Connect. It's our annual user conference. We just had it in January, so it's like every January. But man, get yourself in that room, surrounded by hundreds of other business owners in the same, situations, same things, building the same type companies. Man, you're going to learn a lot. You're already doing a great job, though. Can't wait to see where it takes you.
Absolutely. Do you allow advertisement of social media handles?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay, so for those, because I get a lot of questions, actually. I didn't realize how many people actually watch some of my stories. And even after I shared the story on my father's passing, man, there were probably about 20 to 25 guys that reached out. And I've been through this, or I'm watching my dad be, sick. My dad was never present either. And, I just never understood how to navigate through these emotions. For any husband, father, person, I tailor to a lot of people. My stories especially, and it's real life, and if you ever want to chat real life and you're going through it, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out on social media, again, Marcus Hampton on Facebook. You could search at Mark Anthony Designs, that's MARC as in Charlie, Anthony Designs on Instagram and TikTok, and Hampton Outdoor Inc. Hampton Outdoor Inc. on Instagram and TikTok. And feel free to again, interact with me. My goal is to open up a lot more about these stories, because I didn't realize how much they'd actually help people. And it's hard. It's hard for me because, again, I'll be honest, a lot of what I told you, I still am embarrassed about sharing, and I get worried I'm going to get looked down on. But I know for a fact that if I'm not sharing it, what about the next guy who's thinking the same thing? if I can encourage him, he's been through worse than me. And if I can encourage him to open up, oh my gosh, now we got 2 people, we got 3 people who are helping so many in this industry that desperately needs it. Where mental health is a big thing in our industry. And unfortunately, a lot of men won't really talk about it. A lot of women won't talk about it, but it is something that's constantly battled. When you put your pride aside, you do the right thing for yourself, which is focus on your mental health, opening up, talking to the right people. Again, I'm here for any person, any man, woman, whoever, however you feel, whatever you want to call yourself. I am here. I know what it's like to go through those struggles, and just know that you're not alone. And you're loved and you got support. So,
man, that's awesome, dude. We got a big following on this podcast, so your story is definitely going to be an inspiration to many. Again, just seeing how you just keep getting back up and you're fighting and you're doing it, and you're here living, case in point, like you can still be successful no matter what gets thrown your way. So just keep doing it, man. I appreciate you sharing, your info, and hopefully people reach out.
Yeah.
And again, we're excited to keep building this community around JobTread. Glad to have you part of it, Marcus.
Absolutely, Eric. And again, I appreciate it. We're all fighting the good fight. We're all fighting the good fight. And like I said, just definitely ready. So much more growing to do, just barely scratching the surface. And that's the way I got to continue to look at it, despite everything that's gone on. So I'm ready for it all, my friend. And that's the good, bad, and the ugly. So let's do it.
All right, man. See ya.
I appreciate you. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.